everyone, it's Raven here, and I have a special guest today, and his name is Raul Rosco.
What's up?
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a writer, director. I live here in Los Angeles. I've been here for like 8 years now. Plugging away. I was in Denver before this, but yeah, I'm here and I'm working. Yeah. What do you want to know?
Can you tell me a little bit more about the Drop Dead Gorgeous music video?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about I'll just give you a little background, quick background, and then how this all came to be. So, before I lived in LA, I was living in Denver. I was making music videos out there and just directing. That's like where I started directing with a group of guys, and just people, just a group of people in general. And when I came out to LA, I kind of hit the ground running, just in music videos. But because I had this a background in wanting to make like horror movies and wanting to make genre stuff, but I didn't have like money to go make a movie, you know what I mean? Or like even making a short film is expensive, you know? Like these days people are spending like 50 grand on short films. It's crazy, you know? And so I don't have that kind of money. And so from like the way that I looked at it, I was like, if I can get into like music videos, I could probably do little short films and have somebody else pay for it, you know, and then it's attached to like a song. And so it's like a little, like these little 3 minute, 4 minute shorts, you know? And so that's
Yeah.
kind of what, yeah, honestly, and that's what I was doing in Denver. But in Denver, there was just a little bit of a ceiling into what you could do. So I was like, I got to go to LA so I can be around like actors and just other like weirdos, you know? And you know what I mean? And I found like this good tribe of other weirdos, and this is getting to the drop dead thing, but in that, like, basically out the gate, I was making these like very genre-esque things. I'm like, okay, I want to do a zombie. I'll do a music video with a zombie. I want to do a thing that's like an homage to Texas Chainsaw. We'll do that, and then tell these little tales. And it's funny. It's like a funny little cheat code because I was like learning all the fundamentals of like genre filmmaking or filmmaking in general. Like, how do I do fake blood? How does it even work? You know what I'm saying? Or like,
Yeah.
how do I do fake weapons? Oh, okay, actually, you make them out of foam and then you paint them and you know what I mean? All this
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, you're not actually going with a real hatchet or something, you know?
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I was doing that for like longest time, and then I got to be working with like bigger artists, and then fell into like a little bit more of the writing stuff. I have reps at Sandstone Entertainment, and so they kind of put me on different writing jobs and this, that, and the other. And then this band from Denver that re got signed into a new label, this whole thing. They were a big band called Drop Dead Gorgeous in the emo world. They came and they said, "Hey man, we want to do a video for this song, but you can do whatever you want." I was like, "Oh, anything?"
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like listening to the song a bunch, and in the song the singer's talking about she wants revenge over and over again. That was a
Mhm.
big thing, and it's like really brutal and kind of like the music sounds kind of violent, you know? And so I
Yeah.
was, what can I do that's not just like typical? What's like not, I just really, really, really wanted to avoid making something that was just like a pure slasher, you know? And I was thinking it'd be really cool to do an idea with like a voodoo doll or something, and maybe she's like, pulling it apart, and then we see that happening to like an ex-boyfriend. And then I saw this fucking Sabrina Carpenter music video that is exactly that, you know?
Oh.
And I was like, literally, I saw
Hey.
that like a week before we were like getting ready to like go the next step, and I was like, ah, dang, I gotta think of something brand new. And I was watching there's just like so many different AI movies out right now with like Megan and
Mhm.
Companion, and these movies are awesome, and just like Black Mirror. And so that was all kind of in my mind, and so then I kind of came up with this idea of this slasher girl, but then also it's a music video, and having like just a lot of years of doing this, I'm like, all right, how do we do it even more interesting? Like that's the kind of the thing I'm always asking myself is like, how do we do it, and how do we do it more interesting? And so
Yeah.
then I was like, all right, well, let's just do it in reverse. I've never done that before. I've never done something that's like all playing backwards, and I thought that would just be a really fun challenge. Um, And more fun for me than it was for Kurt, the DP, because he had to figure out how to actually shoot it all, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay.
uh but no, it was cool. It was a cool challenge. And so they went for the idea, and it's been received really well. This guy, there was a live reaction from this popular Instagram account yesterday, and it was from a account called Rogan Josh, and he said it was like one of the best conceptual videos he ever saw. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, like at
Yeah.
least because I didn't even know if people would even know like what the hell was going on, like
No,
that's
yeah.
like the worst fear as like a director is are they gonna be like scratching their head at the end of this? Like, what the hell did I just watch?
No, yeah, I watched the video, spot on. I really liked it. How'd you
Yeah.
feel when like you released it? Like what type of
Mhm.
emotions did you feel or go through?
Um, so kind of a lot, really. Um, But yeah, how did I feel? It was so scary, right? Because here's the other thing with music videos is that it's like a little bit hit and miss, right? Unless you're doing like huge, like falling in reverse music videos, generally you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a lot of time. And so you got to wear like a lot of hats, because I've worked in commercials where you have a ton of money and just too much money for stuff, but you don't get a lot of creativity. There's like zero creativity, really. It's just like cool shots, right? And then
Mhm.
in film, ultra creative, but you're paying for it yourself. So this is this weird middle spot where like you can do, a little thing. It can be really creative, but you've got, 10 grand or something like that, or whatever that is. And so, in this so for this, the lead up to it, I didn't have money to get like an editor or anything like that. So I'm editing it myself.
Oh,
And
okay.
so like literally like countless hours every day because I'm like watch the first cut. Whenever you watch a first cut of anything, you hate it. It's the worst thing. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm a loser. I suck at this. I gotta
Oh,
fix it.
yeah.
Um, and then and then you kind of like take a day, go for a run, whatever, come back home, and then just like look at it and then say, all right, what's working, what's not working. And then I just sort of finagled it into more of a thing. But, when I tell you I was editing it until the second that it was uploaded, I'm not even lying. Like at the guy, Simon from Artery Foundation, the label, he stayed up with me till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning just so I could get him the right export because there was little things that were wrong. And then I had,
Mhm.
like my girlfriend was looking at the one of the cuts and she's like, you got too many little edits and too many flashes. I was like, yo, I gotta submit this like right now. And so I went in and pulled them all out, literally got it in, and then, a day later, it went out live to the whole, to the whole world. And it was really cool. And we got a premiere with Revolver magazine, which is a big metal magazine, and they did a little write-up on it and they like shouted me out, which is kind of cool. It's just like those little bits kind of make it worth it because it gets out. It's, in filmmaking, it's hard to get an audience in general. You make a
Yeah.
short or even a movie, like you go
Mhm.
do that. The whole thing is about what's the box office, how many people are showing up, are you going to sell it to a distributor, are you going to get it on Netflix or whatever, right? And so another little fun thing about music videos, if you're doing them as narratives, is like you're making a short film that you then are throwing out to the world to get 10, 20, 100,000, even a million views. So that's an audience. It's this weird, bizarre little pocket of a world,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
And how do you incorporate horror into your music videos?
So, that's been a big thing. I mean, for me, the biggest thing was like making stories, right? Like crafting stories and doing it in music videos. And then I'm just a horror, fan, in general. So for me, it was just a natural fit. And then depending on what the music was, um, I think I can always take any lyric and then just figure out a way to do that in genre, And
Yeah.
so like for one, I did this music video for the American authors and the song is saying I need you to help me calm down and he's saying calm me down the whole time, calm me down, calm me down. So you could take that so many different ways. I was like zombie, you know, he should be like a zombie being chained up as he's like getting ready to transition into being like one of those violent aggro zombies. And I'm like, as the video's going, maybe he's going further and further and further. And so his girl is trying to like chain him down and tie him up and shit. And I thought that was just, so like, I just, for some reason, I just go towards like that horror thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
Where does your inspiration come from when you do that?
I think I just like watching a lot of stuff, I'm just like being a fan of comic books and being a fan of movies and TV shows and it's just like this like, I mean you're probably the same way. It's just when you're chilling, you want to watch
Yeah.
some scary, weird shit that other people
Yeah.
might not necessarily be
Yeah.
into, you know? I mean, I've watched some gnarly stuff and I don't it's just for some reason that's just where it goes. I also think that like genre stuff, like horror stuff or sci-fi stuff or whatever, it lends itself to music videos because it's kind of visually arresting anyways, so if
Hmm.
you're doing, like a dramatic thing, it's going to be, I mean, it's still awesome. There's amazing videos like that, but it's a little bit less to me interesting sometimes than being able to have fake blood flying or like a monster or a creature or whatever. I did a music video for the artist Grandson, and the song it's called Stigmata, and the thought I had for it was maybe this girl because it's like got these really big heavy drops, and for some reason I thought like she should be it felt like electricity to me, and so then I'm trying to figure out how to do that, and so then we get her into like this scene and like, oh, maybe like on the drop she's being electrocuted. Okay, who's electrocuting her? Oh, wait, that reminds me of the Milgram experiment thing that I read about in school, and maybe there's a thing, and then she can fight back, and then she's the strong one at the end, she kills all of them or whatever, so like I just this real basics of storytelling, just even like normal movie storytelling, but just like doing it in like 3 minutes. And then how can I add some genre elements, How can I add some blood or whatever,
Yeah. Would you ever act in your music videos?
No, dude, I tried once and I thought it would be easier than it is. It's hard. Yeah.
Oh.
Act- Acting is tough. I mean, it's the thing is I direct, right? And I'm
Yeah.
a very energetic kind of director. I'm like very like in it, and I'm like my sets are just very exciting and kind of crazy. And I just can't imagine going from this to like, okay, here's my like, end scene. It's just
Yeah.
and
And can you elaborate more about Atara?
So, okay, yeah. So like kind of we had talked about a little bit is that, I'm as much as I'm into like horror movies and sci-fi movies, I'm like a really big comic book fan. I
Oh,
love
okay.
comic books. Like that's like I grew up on comic books, all the Image books, all like obviously all the Marvel and DC stuff, and then further afterwards like all the Mad Cave stuff, all the Boom Studio stuff, Something's Killing the Children, and like it just there's so many good comic books out there, and I think it's sometimes not as popular of a medium as it should be because they're
Mhm.
like movies in a way, but you get to like it's like a movie and then it's like you hit pause and you're able to like look at every frame and just like kind of digest
Yeah.
it, construct it. It's so cool. Um and so some couple guys and I were trying to get this thing made for a while, and then it's the money kind of dried up because these things cost some money. And so now I'm like, screw it. Like, we still have the IP, we still have this thing that we created. And I'm like, let's just release this online. And then I'm working with an artist, Frank Alpizar from Electrobox Studios, Ecuadorian guy, but he like works for Marvel. And so he's like drawing it and everything. And so he's like, I got this cool Marvel artist and I'm writing it. And so, and it's called Atara and it's a sci-fi horror. It takes place in space and it's about this cosmic galactic being that's been kidnapped and held aboard a ship, and she has a very special power. She can grant anybody one wish. And so this group that's kidnapped her, of course, being like true blue capitalist Americans, are selling wishes, so they create this whole
Mhm.
business around their captive of selling wishes to people that can afford it, but they don't tell people that there's a catch. And the catch is for every one wish that then they have to sacrifice a person that they love. And so then it
Mhm.
becomes a commentary on like greed and like narcissism and ego, and but wrapped in this very fun like genre package because all the sacrifices doesn't mean they die, they just lose everything, and they
Hmm.
become this group of people called the discardeds. And so then the discardeds eventually get loose, and it creates this big kind of monster war, and it's badass.
Yeah,
And
that's pretty
so
sick. It sounds pretty cool. How'd you
yeah,
come up with the idea?
if I don't know, that's another one of those things where I just I wanted to do like a genie tail. I think like I
Mm,
thought for something about a genie tail felt really cool, but like obviously not like rubbing the thing and the thing comes
yeah.
out. It's been done, you know? And I wanted to do something in the sci-fi realm. And so I was just thinking about it, and I think it just kind of came to me, and then I was like, all right, but what makes it interesting? Because there's another huge thing I really like, at least for me in filmmaking and storytelling, is like saying something. I like to have like a point for some, like I don't want it to just be like, all right, they killed all the people and then they're all dead and that's it, Like
Yeah.
I want there to be like some
A
deeper,
meaning behind it.
yeah, I think that's just more
Yeah.
interesting. And so for this one, yeah, I just thought like, okay, if you get a wish, I love the idea of that trade-off and what are you willing to take from somebody else in order to supplement yourself,
Hmm.
So if you're like that greedy, you really think that you should be richer or taller or whatever, are you willing to do that at the expense of this person? And if you are, then that creates a kind of interesting world. And then this Atara being at the center of that, what is her intention? And that becomes kind of the big central sort of thesis.
I like that because I feel like it also touches like the audience in some level. It makes them rethink about like what they have in life and they should be a little bit more grateful or whatever the case is, right?
Right. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
what would they do in that situation? And so because then I get to set up some really interesting questions of if your sister's dying from a, bad disease, are you willing to take the wish to save your sister, meaning that somebody else is going to get sick?
Yeah.
So like, what would you do? And so then
Yeah.
and I don't have the answers. That's the other cool thing with it is I'm not trying to act like I know what is the real thing, but I think it's cool to ask these questions and do it
Yeah.
with these cool beings and stuff. And so if you look on my Instagram right now, we put up a trailer. So I had a trailer made by these really badass artists, the VFX artists, and you see some of the characters. Like there's these defenders on board the ship that are there to keep everything in order. And obviously they're kind of working for the corporation. And so we show them in right before the discarded people have gotten off, and so they're about to start a big war on the ship. And so you can see a little teaser on my Instagram.
Nice. I'll add that in your little bio here
Yeah,
in
thank
that
you.
site. Yeah. Okay. And do you have any more upcoming projects?
Yeah. So a couple cool things coming up I wanted to chat about. One is a, proof of concept short film that I'm producing. I'm not directing it, but I'm producing it with a guy named Tommy DeVries and a company called Stage 22, and it's a horror movie, and it's about it's like five friends that are in a cabin, and they're being hunted and killed, except for the perspective that we tell it from. And I won't tell you what that is right now, but it's different. And that's what makes it
Yeah.
unique. And so we're not just the five friends, it's some other type of thing. And we ended up getting Liam McIntyre, who is the guy that played Spartacus in the show Spartacus, to play the lead. And
Oh,
so, yeah, we're
sick.
shooting that on the 30th and the 31st. And
Oh, okay,
so, yeah,
cool.
and
The
so right
30th of
now
this
we're in
month?
the this month. Yeah, so it's
All
coming
right, cool.
in a couple of weeks, and we're like in the process of even having there's like hatchets and bow and arrows, and so we're getting all the little fake props made right now, and doing the thing.
And how do you feel about that?
I feel good about it. It's cool. It's like, I mean, the reason they hired me on to produce this thing is because it's pretty low budget. And I just, coming from this world of music videos and having done all this genre stuff with blood and weapons and all this shit, that I can pull that off with them in their space. But just using my experience. And so I feel excited about it. We're gonna see.
That's
I
good.
got a great team. My boy Denz is gonna DP it. Um, but yeah, no, that one's coming, and then there's another one called Harm's Way, but that's a thriller. That's not horror at all. It's a very police procedural thriller thing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, staying busy.
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
have you ever thought of making horror films?
Yeah, yeah, I do. So that's what I mean, I always wanted to, when I first got signed to the company that manages me, it's because I had a feature film script called Paradise that I had written around COVID time. And I was taking that out. And it's about this traveling salesman that is the devil, you know?
Okay.
And but like it's all these different little mini tales. And we were trying to get that made for the longest time. And just, movies are just hard. They're just hard to make.
Mm,
They're just hard to get the financing and put into place. It's hard to get everybody's schedules and all this stuff to just sort of, they say like every movie's like a miracle. But right now I'm excited. I'm excited that there are a couple of these shorts going, and I made a horror short or sort of like horror drama called Lucy's Last Song.
mhm.
And you can see that like on my IMDb and stuff, but that ended up going and doing a bunch of festivals and everything. But it was like that's more like drama, and it just has this kind of horror element to it. But like, I would love to do a straight horror. You know what I saw? I saw Weapons last night, and that got me so freaking like inspired. Have you seen it yet?
No, I
Dude,
haven't.
I'm not going to spoil or tell you anything.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
go in not knowing anything. It is awesome. That movie is so, so good.
Okay. No, yeah, I need to watch it
Yeah.
ASAP. But how do you feel about the music videos that you have shot are reaching about over millions of views?
Yeah. I mean, that's the other cool thing, right? Is that with, we kind of touched on it, is that short films or filmmaking, as much as it is for you, it's still for an audience. You want to make your thing and you want to show it to the world, right? You want people to
Yeah.
see your stuff, even if it sucks. You want to at least get it out there, And so that's been kind of the blessing of having taken the music video path in filmmaking, is that you're able to get this audience and you're able to, built into whatever the band is or the artist, you're able to reach an audience. And so sometimes I'll find myself just going through the YouTube comments, it's like there's thousands of comments on these things, and you'll see something. A lot of times it's like, oh, I love this band. But sometimes somebody will be like, oh, this video, I did a video for this band 888 that was about like forgiveness. It's like a fake documentary type thing, music video. And in the comments, people were like, man, this video made me want to go reconnect with my father or something. Or I
Ooh.
like, like it had real life, genuine effects. And sometimes you'll see that in there, and so that's kind of nice. It's kind of nice to just at least get it out there. It's also scary because then sometimes people are like, this is the, biggest steaming pile of shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of like
Yeah, yeah.
that's part of the course. I mean, it's like some people love it, some people hate it, but I love being able to make stuff and then put it out to the audience, to a real audience.
Yeah, you like to know how they really feel about it, or you like to know about the perspective, or what is it that you want to impact on the audience?
I think it's like I want them to hear my voice, I think is kind of the biggest thing. I'd like to
Yeah.
like I want, like to be able to make things because I've had people or, like, you'd like people to be like, oh, that feels like a Roscoe video, or that feels like a Roscoe movie or something like
Okay.
that. That's cool, like that, then the same way that you say that's like Ari Aster movie or something. Like you can kind of tell or whatever. And so I think that, I like to obviously have an effect on the audience, if any, and it kind of also helps you build thick skin. And I think that's a big part of filmmaking, the business in general, is you have, as much as you love to get praise, you also are going to get a lot of hate, and you got to be able to take that hate, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just not let it affect you, or take the hate and be like, oh, actually, you're right. That part did suck. Maybe I'll do that better next time.
Oh yeah. You have to see it in
Yeah.
a more of a positive than a negative way. So
Totally, yeah.
yeah.
Even though, like, sometimes people in YouTube land in the comments, they can be like real mean, but maybe it's like they say in writing, it's like, what's the note behind the note? So maybe I'm just like, okay, I see, I hear you. You're saying it very meanly, but there's maybe something nice in there that I can take into my next project.
Yeah. And can you tell us more about your accomplishments?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, lot of music videos that have won various awards and gotten like millions of views or whatever. The Lucy project that ended up winning. This was kind of cool. It won Burbank International Film Festival, and it was hosted by Tim Burton. So Tim Burton like literally presented the trophies and everything.
That's so
And so that was
sick.
kind of cool. And so I got like
Yeah.
best director and best film there, best short. And it was in LA Shorts. And the screenplays that ended up getting me signed, those had won several awards, got really top ratings. Um, in like the Page and Nichols screenwriting competitions. Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's just as it's been going along, I mean, it's funny because I find it to be like this sort of cumulative thing where I've never had the experience of you do a thing and you get a reward and then all of a sudden you're like freaking killing it, you know? It's been more like I do a million little things and it pushes the needle up a little bit. And then you do a
Mm.
bunch more stuff and it pushes the needle up a little bit. And just to be in a position where, because when I moved to LA, I came with a backpack. It was just literally a backpack, no real plan. I was couch surfing for like months until I booked the first commercial that I directed, and that got me enough money to get an apartment, blah blah blah. And so right now, just to be in an apartment, I live in Sherman Oaks, I direct and write full time is an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah. Ah, good job. That's so good.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
some people tend to kind of like give up midway, but I'm glad they keep pushing, you know? That's good.
Yeah, it honestly most people give up midway because it gets tough, and you can't really blame people because everybody has to make a living, so if you're
Mm,
not
that's
making
true.
a living, I mean, the thing is you don't have to give up. I mean, you can still continue to pursue it even if you have to drive Uber or whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter. As long as you're like, if you're really passionate about it. The thing is, too, that at least I found with the people that have careers that are sort of lasting and they're still alive and they're still in it, um, is that they would do it no matter what. Like if you
Mhm.
have to do filmmaking, if you have to write and direct and create, like you have to breathe, if it's just a part of your being, then you're gonna do it. And so then if you can find a way to make a living while you're doing that, and if you can find a way to make a living while you're doing that, that is doing that thing, well, that's fucking great. So yeah. So,
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, everybody's path is different, man.
Yeah. But no,
Yeah.
that's good that you're moving forward. I'm happy
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
That's good. Keep it going. Keep going. And onto your the fan favorite questions.
Mm.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I always loved, it's kind of, hopefully it's not standard, but I always loved Candyman, the
Mm.
OG Candyman. And because a lot of people don't like, I don't, there was something that when I first saw it was so visceral. I think it's because it was urban. It takes place in like the projects. Candyman is a little bit different than other ones, just because it's so gritty. And a lot of the other ones weren't so gritty, and it takes place like in the projects. It's in the city. It's like all practical effects. Like, I don't know if you know this, that Tony Todd put all those bees in his mouth,
Mhm.
and he got bit up by or like stung by all the bees, and he got like bonuses and all this. I just something about it just felt so raw. And of course, when you're like a kid and you're watching that, you're gonna go into the bathroom and you're gonna say Candyman,
Oh yeah.
like freak yourself out. And I did that. And so that was like, yeah, I think that was like my favorite horror movie. It's still, the remake was alright, but like the OG original Candyman, man, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good one. And
Yeah.
would you
And
say he's your Oh, go ahead.
oh, and also the score. That's another big part. The music in Candyman, that's like Philip Glass, that Philip Glass score is next level. There's just something about it that's so iconic to me. Sometimes even when I'm writing, I'll put on Philip Glass radio on Spotify and just be listening to that.
Nice. Gives you motivation.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll be like in the zone. Put some
Yeah.
bees in my mouth.
All right. And would you say that Candyman's your favorite horror villain, or do you have someone else?
Um, Candyman was up there with the horror, not necessarily my favorite horror villain. I think my favorite horror villain would be Pinhead,
That's a good one.
Hellraiser, just because he was so scary looking. Like I was just so scared of him as a kid. And I just his whole vibe and like the leather and coming out, like the chains and all this stuff. And yeah, his performance and the way he talks, it's just everything. I think Pinhead was always like my favorite.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
A lot of people tell me it's Michael Myers,
Hmm.
Jigsaw. So that one's different. That one's good. I like
Oh,
that.
really? See, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. Pinhead, man. She's just so cool.
And what's the most unsettling or disturbing scene you have ever seen in a horror movie?
All right, so that one is tough because I am a horror fan, right? And I've gone
Mhm.
down the rabbit hole of all the gnarliest horror. I would like I've had little periods where I was like really into like French wave horror, right? Or like Japanese horror, Korean
Oh,
horror,
cool.
all like the really raw stuff. And I'll say I don't like, I can't really recommend it because people might get really fucked up from watching it. But like, if you ever seen Martyrs, like French film called Martyrs,
Mm-mm.
dude, be careful. I can't even say to watch it unless you're into it, but it's like really gory, it's really messed up, but there's some scenes in there. I won't even spoil it by telling you
No,
what
please.
they
I want to
are.
know though. Tell me.
Okay, there's one where this girl's like skinned alive. It's like part of the whole thing. She's supposed to feel pain, and so they like take all her flesh off and they show her, and it's gnarly, dude. So go watch
Dang.
Martyrs. Just go watch the whole movie.
Okay.
I know. But here's the thing. It's not done like gore porn or whatever, that whole
Mhm.
thing. It's really classy. It's like French, and so it's like really beautifully shot
Oh,
and like
okay.
really like very artistic, but like brutal. It's like brutal, brutal. So yeah, any scene from Martyrs is just too much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and then
bet.
also a little bit more of like a standard one would be in Hereditary when the mom is like stabbing her neck.
Oh, that's a good one too.
That was messed up. Or when he's smashing his face, those two scenes, those really stuck with me, man. That's like those, when like a horror scene is working really good when you go home later on and you close your eyes and you see it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
traumatized.
yeah.
Another movie that I think you might like is called Garden of Eden.
Oh yeah?
It's a little gory, kind of
Okay.
involves with the religion. It's just kind of sick.
Oh,
But
is that a new one or?
um Marcel Weltz
Oh
is
yeah.
the director of it, and I think Sarah French also comes out in
Oh
it.
cool. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I
I
highly
followed them
recommend to
on.
watch that one because it got me a little like, ugh. It got me sick to the stomach on some parts. Not gonna say what, but I highly
Okay,
recommend for you to watch it.
I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out.
And what movie scared you as a kid?
Oh, as a kid, I mean, okay, so you know what? This is like kind of standard, but Nightmare on Elm Street. I probably scared a lot of people, but I watched it when I was a really little kid with my uncle, and my uncle was just doing it to mess with me, And so I was like a tiny little kid. He made me watch the thing. The stuff. It's so funny too, because then rewatching it now, like when his arms are stretching across the street and all that stuff. It looks cheesy, but those little things were the things that freaked me out the most, you know? You know what
Yeah.
else? You know what else scared me when I was a kid was Tim Burton's Batman, the Batman with Michael
Oh, that's
Keaton
a good
and
one.
Jack
Yeah.
Nicholson. The Jack Nicholson Joker, I had him on a lunchbox and his like weird smile, he was so scary looking. That just like freaking horrified me forever.
Wow. What about have you seen the movie Jeepers Creepers?
Of course.
That
Yeah, with
one's a
the
good
truck.
one.
Yeah,
Obsessed
yeah.
with that movie, dude. Oh my God. That's my
Creepers,
all-time favorite. But
creepers. Yeah, he's got the song. Yeah, yeah, of course.
and if you could be in any horror villain or monster, who would you be?
I think if I was going to be a monster, I'd want to be a vampire of some sort. I
Oh.
think you get like the immortality of it, but I also like how different they are across all the different movies. So you can kind of be like, there's like Blade vampires, there's like the right one in vampires, there's Nosferatu vampires, there's like groups of vampires, there's underworld vampires, there's all sorts of vampires. So, I think it's that would be the thing. I if I'd be a vampire, I'd want to be a new type of vampire. I've been thinking, I've got a concept that's banging around in my head. So
Oh,
I won't say
okay.
it yet, but there's a cool way to do that, I think.
Oh, okay. Which character would you love to play as if you were to
Um,
come out in a horror movie?
hmm. I guess then who would I want to be as a maybe like I don't know. Because I'm not like I haven't really thought about being an actor in something. But I guess if I was gonna be a character, I guess maybe then some sort of a vampire, right? Which would
Edward
fit.
from Twilight.
Not the Edward from Twilight. That's not a cool vampire. Oh, you know what?
Okay.
You know who I'd be is I'd want to play werewolf. I think that
Oh,
would be kind of cool because you can see like the normal guy that's going through it, and then he's got this affliction where he wakes up at night, turns into a monster, and kills everybody. I think that'd be kind of
oof.
cool. I would want to play that just to have the transformation scene, just to have the
Oh,
scene where you're like, ah, turning into the
yeah.
werewolf. That just for that one scene alone, I would want to play a werewolf.
I think that'd be pretty cool too.
It
That's
would be
cool.
awesome.
And well, again, thank you for joining with me today. I appreciate your time.
Of
Is there
course.
anything that you would like to promote or say?
I would say just, check out Atara on my Instagram page. We're going to be releasing, Frank and I will be releasing pages of that every other week, basically, just to kind of build it up. And we're just releasing it for free. So just letting the world have it because I want to build a little bit of an audience. I want people to be checking it out and then eventually have it go get published with a proper publisher. But yeah, just stay tuned. And we're just going to be releasing. I have little videos and a cover and all sorts of stuff that I'll be putting up about that in the coming weeks.
All right, sick. Thank you again. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This is awesome.
And last but not least, would you like a tarot reading?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So let me go ahead and shuffle, and I'm gonna shuffle again so you can
Okay,
see that
cool.
I'm not lying or cheating or whatever. Okay. Your first card is the Page of Cups.
Ooh.
And this
Okay.
is a good card, okay?
Okay.
So this card represents you, and then you see the skull that she's holding.
Mm-hmm.
And do you see that there's like a fish in the middle?
Yeah.
So it represents you having like you're holding a cup and it's filled with abundance and ideas and creativity. So it's stating that keep going, move forward with your life and the things that you're doing in life. Don't give up. There's times that there's going to be bumps on the road, but that doesn't necessarily mean for you to take a step back and just relax. It means for you to work harder and keep achieving the things that you want to achieve in life because obviously in life nothing is easy. So you have to continue and go forward. Doesn't matter if there's any like negative or hate comments, just put that to the side because at the end of the day, it's your life, not theirs. So just constantly move forward. Have a positive mindset. The Page of Cups.
Age of Cups. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, cool. Thank you. And then the bottom of the deck is, ooh, it's the good reading. Okay. So this one is the Ace of Wands.
Okay.
And then this is you holding the wand, which represents you taking in everything that's happened in your life and you appreciate everything that's gone in your life. And you see that as a way to motivate yourself to continue going further into your life. So,
I
yeah,
love
just keep
that.
moving forward. I know there's days where it's going to be a bit slow, but I suggest you to just keep making ideas or do more music videos or whatever it is. Just keep going forward. So,
Cool.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So hope you enjoyed that little reading.
I loved it.
Yeah, okay, cool. So thanks again for joining with me. Is there anything that you would like to say?
No, Raven, this was great. Thank you so much. I mean, I wish we got to know a little bit more about you, but I'm sure we'll know.
You're good.
I'm sure we'll learn some stuff on the channel.
For sure. All right. Thank you again. Have
All
a
right.
great day.
Cool. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching my video. Be sure to follow Raul Rosco on Instagram, Harm's Way, Ataraverse, and People's Pictures on Instagram. Check out the links below and go ahead and follow them, see what they're up to. Also, I suggest you to go watch their music videos. It's pretty sick if you say so myself. And yes, go ahead and show them support and love and let them know that you came from me. Hello. And before we end the video, I need to do a tarot reading for you guys. The Ten of Wands, which means I think some of you guys are going through some stuff right now. I feel like there's a lot that's going on in your mind and you feel a little bit stressed out or you kind of feel like it's a burden to you. But just be aware to not to waste so much of your energy on that, especially if it's something so negative and something's pulling you back. I need you guys to get it together. I mean, easier said than done, obviously. But let me see. Ooh, another wands. King of Wands, vision, honor, leadership, ultimate energy, ultimate masculine energy. So for you guys, for my murder of crows, I see that you're trying to have a strong mindset of what's going on in the situation. As in, if you're in a tough pickle, you find ways to not let it get into your head But there's moments where it happens. There's moments where that negative thoughts tend to creep into your mind and you just kind of have to shrug it off. And sometimes it's hard, not gonna lie, sometimes it's hard. But normally what I do, I just look at it, I understand it, and I tell myself, okay, what can I do with that situation? Is it something that I can fix or is it something that I should just ignore? Right? I can't give you an example just yet because I'm still not done. I'm still trying to figure it out. But from a side of that, I think I'm doing okay because I'm not giving too much of my energy to it because I know it's not necessary. I know that the main picture of that problem is to focus on myself and move forward with my life and continue doing the things I want to do in life. So, yeah, that's the answer. Ignore it. Ignore that sticky situation that you're in. Just move along. You either have to pull yourself from it or distance yourself from those people or whoever it is the situation is. Focus on yourself. Remember that. Focus on yourself and always believe in yourself and push yourself to do good. I know I keep saying this in my past videos, but that's the only answer to be where you need to be in life, right? Because who's going to take you there? No one except for yourself. Remind yourself that you as a person, you can only pull yourself together, right? No one's going to hold your hand to be where you need to be in life. Only yourself. So the bottom of the deck is the Page of Pentacles. So, oh, sometimes going through life can be a bumpy road and it can be an ugly feeling, or you can feel like you just want to give up. But you have to, again, remind yourself that at the end of the rainbow, there's always a pot of gold waiting for you. And that gold is your manifestations, the things that you manifested in life. Yes, the only thing I can say is move forward. Believe in yourself, believe in things you want in life, and manifest as much as you can. Um, Obviously, still be kind to yourself and the people around you. Eat healthy, be kind, treat people with kindness, even though it can be so hard. But yeah, that's I think that's my only message for you guys today. But if you guys have anything else to say, let me know. I'm more than happy to read your comments, right? And again, don't forget to follow Raul Rosco on Instagram, to follow Harm's Way on Instagram, Atara Verse, and people's pictures on Instagram. If you haven't already, follow me on my social media, of course, and stay tuned for more. Bye, guys.